None of this bullshit matters. What's happening with the government, no matter who's president, them kids in Chicago are still sitting in a warehouse with no fucking outdoor space. And with a 4th grade reading education, and they still foaming at the mouth because they're giving them drugs to get out of jail called the CUT program. And they're breathing mold in their air. And we forgot about the kids. We got bigger issues. I'm not worried about other people's problems. I'm worried about my culture, the people I love and how they're being oppressed, and the cycles that need to stop, and the people that are enabling us. And that's who I be going at. Success for me and how much money I make is how I move the needle for my culture. And I'm not talking about black, white. I'm talking about creative thinking. I think politics are dumb. If we're both fighting for America, how are we going to fight each other to fight for one thing? If I'm trying to save a block and you trying to save my block, I'm not going to fight you to save the block. We're going to fight together. So instead of worrying about the bullshit, we need to worry about what's going on with these kids, why they can't read. Why do they build a jail cell for every time a kid can't read past the 4th grade? That's the problem. Is why is all this independent sector, the government with these big budgets, paying people to do things for the people, but they're not looking at where they're spending the money or how they're spending the money? How could a kid's jail be $1.2 a bed for a child, and they don't even let them buy a real toothbrush? That's the problems that I'm dealing with in this moment, is education and teaching, my culture. If you could, half the people that give a fuck about Trump or Biden, they probably don't even know how to get a law passed. They don't know how to lobby. They don't even know how to change things. You understand what I'm saying? Like, to make a law or to make change in America is a unilateral decision. A lot of people got to agree. So that should be what we should be doing, is trying to work on how to stick together instead of what makes us separate as a social class. It's not about black or white. It's about 99% of the world that got to work for the 1%. And the way they make the 99 fight each other so that we continue to separate and work for the 1%. So either way, all these people that care about the president are paying for a billionaire, but both of them. I'm not jacking none of that. Pause, because I don't know what's going on. They're all gray areas. I can just control what I see and know. I'm not depending on the government to pay for my hospital bills. I'm not depending on the government to pay for my where I live. I'm not knocking anyone that does, but I'm in the unless it's capital gains, the 40 to 50% bracket. And I always owe taxes. So when you owe $12 million of taxes, how do you pay that back without making $24 million? But they snatching your money every day. They fucking with your working capital. You know what they don't teach you in school? How to have money. How to keep money. You know why my net worth is I don't know how to keep it. I never went to school. Nobody told me how to keep money and when to pay taxes, what capital gains is, what's a trust. Well, no one taught none of that shit. So that's what we do. We talk about people that don't matter, shit that doesn't affect our personal life, and we're worried about what other people do and what they could do for us, when we should be worried about focusing on how to do for ourselves. And understanding the money is man-made. I don't give a fuck about money. There's no goal behind it. It's all a Ponzi scheme. I care about love as my currency. How much time I spend with my child. What's my net worth? I'm a dad. That I pick my kid up from school and I bring him to school. And I can bring him to work. Then I can bring him to a jail. I can bring him to a school. And he gonna watch his daddy be a superhero. That's all that matters to me. So when you look at all these so-called moguls, you don't see their family life. You see contrived pictures of something that doesn't even matter on a red carpet. And their children aren't with them. I'm at home with my kids, and then I'm being creative, and I'm creating my own. Like, I direct my own movies. I get them funded or fund them myself. I put them out, distribute them myself, and then I put them on my own streaming service. That's amazing. To be able to write a book and sell 60,000 books by myself and you don't know it, that's amazing.
That's impressive.
To have my own sneakers, to have my own, all that shit is amazing.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not worried about that bubblegum shit. That's why I left it. You understand what I mean? But I'm not going to be grouped up and never. And the feds don't need to call me, because if they watching or listening, they like, yo, this motherfucker just living a nice, pleasant, boring life. The only lawsuit you're going to get from me is I yelled at you. That's it. You're not going to get none of that old funny shit, because that's not what I do. There is no gray area with Dame Dash. And the receipts are there. Period. I tape everything. So, yeah.
That was great. By the way, why do you think crime is so high in Chicago?
Because it's such a big state.
You think because it's a big state?
Yeah, it's like 16. You see,
There's plenty of big states, but why is Chicago so high?
Go Google it. It's the reason why they say the crime rate is what's relative to how many people there. So many people get killed because so many people are in one spot. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a big spot. That's why it is. But I would say the reason why is because the government enables the kids.